So this is a 1-year-old male-castrated mixed-breed dog. The history provided to us on the ultrasound request was 48 hours of acute vomiting. Dog had a history of gastrointestinal parasites, and their rule-outs were foreign body versus gastroenteritis versus inflammatory bowel disease versus lymphangiectasia. And during the scan, try to occasionally look up at the inset at the top left and you can kind of get an idea of where our probe is on the animal and where we are looking. So in this video we start by looking at the stomach. So this right here, you're looking at your stomach lumen and your wall layers of your stomach. And as you're looking in the stomach, we start to notice some echogenic material. The stomach's not collapsed and empty. And then we see some material coming up pretty shortly that has a pretty strong distal acoustic shadow, so pretty strong interface where you've got some material and then nothing is getting past that point. None of the sound waves are getting past that point. And that makes us highly suspicious of foreign material because food is usually much more echogenic and kind of absorbs the sound waves a bit better than that. So now if you look, we're starting to move over towards the right side of the dog and we're looking for the pyloric region. So you've got pylorus right here and you'll have your duodenum coming out in just a second. So now we've got duodenum coming out, and now we start looking at the duodenum. You start seeing in the lumen of the duodenum, we start to see this linear hyperechoic structure kind of going through the middle. So keep your eye on this thing as we watch. And additionally, you notice that the duodenum itself seems kind of scrunched in upon itself, which is consistent with plication. So we start following this along, and again, you see this linear hyperechoic structure throughout this process. And in a second, when we get to a certain point on this area here, you get to see the image of the duodenal loop where you've got the structure is actually as far as the muscularis layer, which tells us that it's actually starting to go through some of the layers of the duodenal wall. So we continue to scan through, still see this linear structure as we follow the duodenum along, other areas of plication as well. So again, we're following along, we're moving now over to the left side, and we still are seeing this linear hyperechoic structure coming through and more bunching of areas of the duodenum right over here, or plication actually. And as we come over towards this area, we're now looking at distal duodenum / proximal duodenum. We start seeing in a moment even more echogenic material within the loop and some strongly shadowing material as well, which fits with some food maybe and some foreign material. So again, we see this structure and all this plication going on. And at the very end of this, you're starting to see, you get your plicated loops leading into this echogenic thing with a strong distal acoustic shadow. And then past that point, if you notice, we get to normal looking intestine that are collapsed and kind of normal distribution throughout the abdomen. So this is a good example of a duodenal linear foreign body. This material is likely anchored to the stuff that you saw in the stomach. When you're doing these scans, other things you want to look for is any evidence of free fluid or hyperechoic fat that would make you suspicious for a perforation. Also notice that in this we never actually saw distended loops of intestine, so as you would expect to see in an animal with a mechanical obstruction and dilation. Regardless, this dog has a foreign body and is in need of surgery as soon as possible. Thanks.